Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, I got a pretty serious topic that I'm a bit hot about. And the topic is the shocking audio that proves that Stephen A. Smith was a hater and a fraud against Kawhi Leonard. So that's the topic I want to get into today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, be sure to check out our Dreamerspro Podcast, which we have linked in the description below. And also be on the lookout for our Dreamerspro platform that we're launching in the first week of January, and also our Dreamerspro website, which we're extremely excited about the launch in January. So be on the lookout for that, and we'll keep you guys posted on that. Anyway, let me just go ahead and get into this topic right here, because I've actually reached the point where I've actually heard, I've literally heard enough, right? I've heard enough. I'm kind of tired of uninformed NBA fans that don't really do research, come out there, start saying things. And I was like, you know what? Let me just put a video out that can kind of silence a lot of these people, because I know most people just go around regurgitating talking points that they hear on the general sports media outlets, and then they come out here and then start, post it in the comment sections like as if they're saying some groundbreaking things. So in today's video, I want to go behind the curtain and actually let you guys understand that this league is about agendas, right? It has a lot of it has nothing to do with whether or not somebody is good or not. It just depends upon, okay, listen, do we like this guy? We're going to support this guy. There's certain things we're willing to cover up, and there's certain things that other players are going to go at. We're going to go at them for when other people have been doing it. So in this video, I'm going to go behind the curtains and really let you guys know that a lot of this stuff that's being said about Kawhi Leonard has already happened before. And a lot of the people that are coming out acting like as if they're shocked about it know that this has been going on for a very long time. But when it comes to him, all of a sudden, the rules change. So let me just go ahead and get into this thing here. Now, I've said for a long time that I believe that Stephen A. Smith has been a hater of Kawhi Leonard. I don't even think he really thought he was that dude. The most he's been able to concede to Kawhi is that, hey, listen, he's a back to what is it? He won 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, and he has 2 Finals MVPs. But one of them he doesn't even like to credit the guy for. He's like, he wasn't even the best player on the team, and all of these different things. Yet he has the strength, and the vigor and the stamina to always compliment guys that haven't done anything, like the James Hardens of the world. He'll come on TV and say all of these great things about, James Harden and other players like this. But when it comes to Kawhi Leonard, who's a multiple-time champion, all of this, it seems like for him to give the guy some praise, some credit, it's like, twisting his arm for him to do this. And this seems to be the case over and over and over and over again. But now it's kind of hit a fever pitch. So before I go too far into this video, because I have a lot that I want to get to, I want you guys to take a listen to a soundbite that was released this week, depending on when you see this video, obviously, of Stephen A. Smith talking about Kawhi Leonard after the allegations came out by some guy, Johnny Wilkes, I think it is, that said that it was some collusion and he's being owed $2.5 million. So they asked the question, do they think that Kawhi Leonard has been worth it to the Clippers? I want you guys to take a listen to this soundbite, and then we'll get back into the content here. So take a listen to it.
Well, first of all, I think you're wrong, but understand, not only is he not galvanizing, but he is dividing indirectly. Because if you take into account the beef between Montrezl Harrell and Paul George, assuming there's truth to that, which obviously I've heard, well, where would that stuff with Paul George come from in terms of how Paul George and Kawhi Leonard was being treated? Remember, Kawhi Leonard was a 2-time NBA champion. He was a 2-time NBA Finals MVP. But Paul George was receiving similar treatment, even though he had never even been to the finals, let alone capture 2 championships and 2 NBA Finals MVP. So where would that come from? It would feed off of Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi Leonard made Paul George's arrival a condition upon him arriving with the Los Angeles Clippers. See, this is where the accountability comes into play. Again, if I'm sitting up there and I'm a marquee free agent and I tell you this is what I want in terms of money, all right, okay, I'm good. But when I sit up there and I say, not only do I want this money, not only do I want these perks, but I don't give a damn what you have to do, get that guy too. And I do that, then there's a level of culpability and accountability that I have to a franchise that ascends compared to the average person out there. Even LeBron James didn't do that. He went and joined D. Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami. He elected to take his services back to Cleveland. Kyrie was already there. Of course, he wanted Kevin Love and what have you, but Kevin Love was looking to get out of Minnesota because he hadn't been in the playoffs in his first 6 years there. Then he goes to Los Angeles. Yes, he wanted Anthony Davis, but he arrived a year before. So he came not even knowing if they were ultimately able to get Anthony Davis. Kawhi Leonard sat up there and held the Clippers accountable in that regard. So when you do all of that, okay, in LA, knowing Ballmer's got a new arena coming near where the LA Forum used to be, knowing that you're trying to compete with the Lakers as if that's possible, knowing the backdrop of all of this, and utilizing that to your advantage, not only to get what you want monetarily, but in every other way imaginable, thereby forcing the Clippers to damn near mortgage their future. You owe them more than 27-7 or being an elite defensive player or an all-star. You owe it to them to do everything you possibly can in order to win. And my last point is, I don't know Kawhi Leonard like that. We say hi and bye. For all I know, he's a great guy, nice guy, the whole bit. I'm not trying to cast any aspersions on him. I'm just highlighting for you what the Clippers situation is. And based on that, Kawhi Leonard has not been worth it thus far.
So basically, in that soundbite, Stephen A. Smith is making the argument that, listen, because the Clippers made all of these moves for Kawhi Leonard, got Paul George, all of these different things, that thus far, Kawhi Leonard has not been worth it to the organization, number one. Number two, he's said in other clips, which we're not going to post here, that, he heard rumblings in the past of Kawhi Leonard's uncle making certain requests, and Kawhi Leonard's, making certain requests like this, and some people were saying it's illegal, trying to paint the picture like as if Kawhi Leonard was doing something that other NBA players have not been doing for a very long time. But all of a sudden, when it comes his turn, because I believe he doesn't really like Kawhi Leonard, all of a sudden now it's like some groundbreaking news. And I told you guys this a year before, because Stephen A. Smith touts the fact that he's an insider. He knows a lot of these people. He has a lot of these relationships. And this time is going to come back to bite him in the butt, because since you have all of these inside connections, it's going to prove when I play this audio for you that you absolutely knew this was taking place, and why you didn't raise alarms back then, but all of a sudden you want to raise alarms now because it's something groundbreaking. Only you and people who support you are going to be able to answer. Are going to be able to answer that. And basically he's saying in this soundbite, hey, listen, because they lost, so therefore it hasn't been worth it, because Kawhi Leonard hasn't been able to galvanize the troops and all of these different things. A two-time NBA champion, a two-time finals MVP, doesn't know how to galvanize the troops, doesn't know how to lead, when he just did it 2 years ago. But fine, we want to make this argument now. Now, let me ask you guys a question. When the Miami Heat when they sort of made the organizational shifts that they needed to do as far as player personnel, when they acquired LeBron James and Chris Bosh to come play with Dwayne Wade, right? When they did all of these different things, acquiesced to some of the things that LeBron James stipulated that he wanted, to the point where at one point, Pat Riley had to push back on him. But when they did that and they got those three players playing together and they lost the first year in the finals to the Dallas Mavericks, my question to you is, was it fair to say that it wasn't worth it to get LeBron James and Chris Bosh at that time? Was it fair to say that? Absolutely not. It's not fair to say that, because you understand that the talent that you have in place, but you understand that it's also a process. And 4 years down the line, they ended up winning 2 championships. So obviously, it was worth it, right? So if we're judging Kawhi Leonard not being able to perform in a Game 7, and we're going to look at that and say it's not been worth it and all the moves that have not been made, tell me the last time the Clippers had a top 3 player in the NBA. When was the last time we can definitively say that the Los Angeles Clippers had a top 3 NBA player on their roster? There was no time that they had a top 3 player in their roster. So for you to come out and say, oh, it's not worth it, what are you talking about? It's not worth it. It's one thing to say that they shouldn't have blown that series lead. That I totally concede, and I've said that on numerous occasions. But then to turn around and now say it's not been worth it, my friend, I don't understand what you're talking about. And to me, it makes no sense. And the people that believe that makes sense, then that's something that you need to really look into. Now, secondly, let me get to the part where, Stephen A. Smith likes to talk about breaking stories, and he mentioned in the past how he understood that, LeBron James was out of there and all of these different things. He even spoke about the fact that Carmelo Anthony was supposed to be the third banana to go down there, but he ended up messing it up for a contract that he signed and all of these different things. Now, let me get into a soundbite, right, that was played in 2000 that came out in 2011. I want you guys to take a listen to this soundbite. In this soundbite, you're going to listen to Lenny Kravitz, who's the singer, the famous singer, the rock and roll star, very popular Lenny Kravitz, who's a musician. I want you guys to listen to Lenny Kravitz talking about LeBron James signing with the Miami Heat. Before it happened, take a listen to this soundbite.
When LeBron joined Miami, was that exciting for you?
Well, it was interesting because
Press, of course.
I had heard the conversations going on for a year, in the background, and I wasn't sure that it was going to happen. And then it happened. It was very exciting for the city and for my team,
Now, in that soundbite, you can clearly hear Lenny Kravitz talking about, we know that this is something that the NBA has been working on for a long time, and now it's finally come to fruition. Now, let me ask you guys a question. For those of you people that want to come out here and start criticizing Kawhi and all of it, let me ask you guys a question. Is this not collusion at the highest level? Is this not collusion? How is it possible that Lenny Kravitz, who is a singer, who's not even in that industry, knows that the NBA knows that the Miami Heat had been working on this process for over a year to acquire LeBron James? How is it that he knows but Stephen A. Smith doesn't know? And why didn't Stephen A. Smith come out on TV if he's so adamant about, I heard some news that people have been saying this about Kawhi Leonard's uncle? Why didn't we hear you on TV talking about it then, saying that, listen, the LeBron James, it hasn't been worth it, and LeBron James is collude? Why didn't we hear you say that? Because you've been able to get, first of all, interviews from LeBron James. His camp has put pressure on you, but it also shows you that the NBA sometimes picks and chooses who they want to go after. This has been happening since forever. But now when it comes to somebody else, all of a sudden, it's breaking news, and I heard that his uncle was saying this about a year ago, and certain sources who I won't quote, but you knew this. There's no way you're going to tell me with a straight face that if Lenny Kravitz, who is not even in the NBA, was aware that that decision was bubbling for over a year, that there's no way that Stephen A. Smith didn't know. And if he knew, how come he didn't bring it out then? Why all of a sudden now you have some type of righteous indignation and say it's not worth it? And he said in the soundbite early in that clip, he said, I see Kawhi Leonard, he walks by me. Sometimes he doesn't say anything. I wonder why. I wonder why Kawhi Leonard doesn't speak to you. I wonder why. So for me, for all of those people, excuse me, they want to come on here and say, Kawhi Leonard is a cheat. You don't know what you're talking about. This thing has been going on for decades. But all of a sudden, because you don't like the guy, you look for excuses to come at him. That's all it has to do with. It has nothing to do with, what I'm saying, or I'm trying to make some kind of point. I'm trying to kind of make some kind of profound point about Kawhi Leonard. It has nothing to do with that. Spare me with it. And this audio proves it. So for me, I think Stephen A. Smith is a hater. He's a flat-out hater of Kawhi Leonard because the dude refuses to give him an interview. He refuses to jump in that NBA circle of buddies. The guy stays to himself. He's not even on social media. He goes about his business, being himself. Instead of people applauding that, you want to come at the guy for saying, because he's not part of the buddy group. Because you can't see him anywhere with none of these guys. Please, I don't want to hear it. So, what I want to know from you guys is, do you think, after listening to that audio, that number one, this thing has been going on way before Kawhi Leonard even became a superstar? And two, do you think Stephen A. Smith is a hypocrite and a fraud about it? Because for me, I think he is. Now, obviously, I'm using a lot of passion in this video, but I have to disseminate my point so you guys understand how kind of tired I am of hearing about it. And most NBA fans do not do their research, so most people won't even know that this audio is out there. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoy the video, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day. Again, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out some of our other videos on the channel. I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy that as well. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day, and catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.